So ang ating pong pag-uusapan ngayon ay Genesis. By the way, napakayaman po ng Genesis, and so therefore ngayon po i-overview natin yung buong Genesis, pero ngayon po sa gabing ito we will talk about the first chapter. Napakahalaga po kasi ng first and second chapter. Tapos yung susunod po magfo-focus din tayo. Tapos mga ilang ano na lang po yan, mga ilang mga major topics ang pagpupukusan natin. Okay, so Genesis, the book of beginnings. Ayan. Well, introduction, ito po ang ating objective. Ano ang bakit natin pinag-aaralan ng Genesis? Well, for you and I to be trained so that we have an understanding of its purpose. Ano ba ang purpose? Bakit sinulat ito? Yung structure, paano ito sinulat, at syempre yung pinaka-tema ng buong Genesis. Para nang sa ganun, pag binasa mo ito, alam mo yun, alam mo na yung pinaka-tema ng libro. Ngayon, ito yung mga key points natin. Number 1, Genesis, of course, is the first book of the Bible. Genesis is believed by scholars, and traditionally, Moses is the one attributed as the author. So sinulat po ito ni Moises at kinikilala po yan ng mga Bible scholars, mga theologians, and even mga church fathers. At even si Jesus po, si Moses yung kinikilala na nagsulat niyan. Number 3, ang Genesis po, ang pinag-uusapan dito ay nagmumula sa pagkalikha ng Diyos, basically the creation, and of course the creation or formation of the people of Israel. So yan po yung mga key points na makikita natin sa book of Genesis. Now, ano ho sa palagay nyo ang pwedeng mangyari? Halimbawa, tayong mga Kristiyano, hindi natin nabasa yung Genesis. What do you think will happen? Or we can say, what do you think is the importance for us to understand it? Why understanding Genesis is very important for Christian leaders? Well, there's a lot of answers that you and I can give. Pero basically, the book of the beginnings is very important for us to understand where we came from, what is our purpose, and eventually give back the glory to God. So, now, ito po ang pinaka-structure. Ang buong Genesis po, kung hahatiin po natin ito, kumbaga ilalagay natin sa structure, pwede po nating hatiin sa dalawang panig o dalawang grupo, no? Yung tinatawag na primeval history, yan po yung chapter 1 to chapter 11. Diyan po yung mamaya pakikita ko po sa inyo yung structure. Yung kalahati naman po, yung chapter 12 to chapter 15 ng Genesis, diyan naman po nagsisimula yung tinatawag na patriarchal history. Let me discuss. Ano yung primeval history? Ito yung history na kung saan makikita natin yung mga unang-una, yung pagkagawa sa tao, at hanggang sa po yan, sa Tower of Babel, flood, pakikita ko po sa inyo. Yung patriarchal naman po, pinag-uusapan dyan yung mga patriarchs ng Israel. So basically, ito po yun. Sa primeval history po, 4 na major points ang pag-aaralan natin. Una, yung creation, paano ginawa ng Diyos ang mundo. Pangalawa po, pag-aaralan natin yung fall o yung pagkakasala ng tao. Tapos sa chapter 6 and 9 po, tinatalakay naman po dyan, major story dyan ay yung flood, yung baha. Kasi universal flood po yan. At yung pang-4 po, yung Tower of Babel. Iyan po yung confusions of language, nagkaiba-iba na lingwahe. Sa patriarchal history naman po ay makikita natin, basically 4 po yan. 4 po ang makikita natin dyan. Yung pong pagkatawag kay Abraham, the first patriarch, siyempre yung kanyang anak, si Isaac, then si Jacob at si Joseph. Okay? Well, basically, kaya sila tinawag na patriarch kasi yung pananampalataya ay nagsimula sa kanila. No, nagsimula kay Abraham, tapos ipinasa kay Isaac, kay Jacob. That eventually, you will notice at the end of Genesis chapter 37 to 50 po, pinag-uusapan naman po diyan yung buhay ni Joseph. Ano po? Yung buhay ni Joseph. Okay. Now, let's go to chapter 1. Ang gagawin ho natin ay babasahin po natin yung buong chapter 1, then we will try to give some commentaries, no, ano po, doon sa babasahin natin. Tapos pag-uusapan natin at the end, ano yung mga lessons na pwede nating matutunan. Okay? So Genesis chapter 1. Ready na ba kayo? Verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And the earth was a formless and desolate emptiness, and darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over surface of the water. Ano daw dyan? Mapapansin niyo po, sa unang tala pa lang ng Genesis, mapapansin niyo na yung salitang God, in the beginning God. It only implies, actually, it only tells us that God actually was already there in the beginning. Mapapansin niyo, wala ritong sinabi na ang Diyos ay may beginning, kundi doon pa lamang sa pasimula, pasimulang pasimula, ay nandoon ang Diyos. Meaning to say, nung dumating ang time, God was already there. And we can say that God is an eternal being. He was there before everything was created. Kasi nga siya ang creator eh. Nakuha nyo? And you know what? The word God here is in plural form. If you are going to study yung pong original word niyan, yan po ay Elohim. Ano po? Medyo interesting ito kasi yung salitang God can be taken, ang salita pong Elohim, yan po ay nasa plural form. Ang singular form po niyan ay El. Dito pa lang, makikita mo na, ini-introduce na actually, although hindi pa malinaw na malinaw, ini-introduce sa atin yung Trinity. No? And eventually, if you are going to study throughout the Bible, it will be established that God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit are actually a community of persons. And they are called God. Kaya sa Bible, sa Genesis, yung salitang God ang ginamit Elohim. So ano daw nangyari? God created, siya ang may gawa ng langit at lupa. Dito, sinasagot na agad yung tanong na saan tayo galing, di po ba? Di ba? Nakakatuwa ang Genesis kasi yung simpleng tanong pero ang hirap sagutin, sinasagot na sa atin agad. We are created, actually the heavens and earth are created and all other things, even as man, are created by God. So sinasagot na ng Genesis yan. Tingnan niyo po, ano daw nangyari bago na-create ang lahat ng bagay? Ano ang itsura daw? The earth was formless, and desolate emptiness and darkness was over the surface of the deep. Ano daw ang kalagayan daw ng earth during the time? Formless, walang form, walang itsura. Desolate emptiness, hungkag. And darkness was over the surface of the deep, meaning madilim. Although the earth was formless, desolate, empty, and darkness was over the surface in the deep, the Spirit of God was hovering over the surface of the water. Nakuha nyo? And eventually, what can we learn? God created everything from His Word. Nagsalita siya. And God said, "Let there be light." And what happened? There was light. There was light. And God saw the light was good. Grabe, according to God's standard, nung makita niya, nagsalita siya, lumabas yung light, nakita niya, good agad. Nakuha nyo? Siguro ang ilan sa inyo magtatanong, bakit hindi sinabing best? Kaya sinabing good kasi wala siyang pwedeng pagkumparahan eh. Yung best kasi, ginagamit natin yung salitang yung best kapag may pinagkukumparahan ka. Yung kagalingan at kabutihan ng Diyos, nothing can be compared from it. That's why the word good is suited. So God saw that the light was good. And so what happened on the first day? God separated the light from darkness, and God called the light day, and the darkness He called night. So anong ginawa niya? Sineparate niya yung day and night. Siguro parang ganito po, no? Let's just imagine, no? Sineparate niya yung day and night, and that was the first day of creation. Naka niyo? Next day, then God said, let there be an expanse in the midst of the low water, and let it separate the waters from the waters. God made the expanse and separated the waters that were below the expanse from the waters and that were above the expanse. And it was so. God called the expanse heaven, and there was evening and there was morning a second day. So ano daw nangyari? Sa pangalawang araw daw, ang sineparate niya, yung tubig, ayan, sabi rito, tubig sa baba at saka tubig sa taas. Sineparate niya yan. So ano ibig sabihin nito? Nung unang panahon, itong pag-create ni God, ginawa niya na ang mundo, may tubig tayo sa baba. Yung nakikita natin, sea. Di ba? May tubig. Pero naglagay din siya ng tubig sa taas. Sabi ng mga theologians, ng mga expert, ano daw ito? Para itong dome sa natin sa mundo. Parang ganito daw itsura niya. Ayan, ito yung mundo natin. Tapos nababalot siya ng tubig. Dito, ito tubig ito. Okay? Ito yung earth, sa baba may tubig din. So yung buong mundo ay nababalot ng tubig. Ang tawag ng iba dyan ay canopy, no? At dahil daw dyan may canopy, itong canopy na ito, nandyan yan hanggang dumating yung flood. Kasi nung flood, binuksan ng kalangitan. Bumagsak lahat ng tubig, kaya bumaha. No? Pero before flood, bago po sa panahon ni Noah ng baha, wala pa pong ulan. Ang nangyayari po, itong pinaka globe, no? Yung circle ng globe, meron daw itong nababalot ng tubig. At dahil diyan, ayan po, favor of canopy, yung harmful na UV radiation, nabablock ng tubig na yan. And so therefore, kaya daw ang mga tao nung panahon, katulad ni Adan, ay mahaba yung kanilang buhay. Nakuha nyo? So that was actually the study ng mga Bible scholar. So ano nangyari sa second day? Sineparate yung tubig sa baba at sa taas. So nagkaroon po ng canopy. Then God said, let the waters below and the heavens be gathered into one place, and let the dry land appear, and it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering of the waters He called seas, and God saw that it was good. And then God said, let the earth sprout vegetation, plants yielding seeds, and fruit trees on the earth, bearing fruit according to their kind. So ano nangyari? Nakita ng Panginoon, it was good. Then eventually, He separated the water and the land. So lumitaw po yung na po yung lupa. Sineparate niya, tinawag niyang sea, yung tubig na sineparate from the land. So nagkaroon ng karagatan, nagkaroon ng kalupaan, kapatagan, kabundukan. Nakuha niyo po. So during this time, sa day 3, ginawa na rin ni God yung mga halaman, mga puno, lahat ng green. Nakuha niyo? So dry land was there, and grass, trees, and of course you will see the whole land. This was actually parang preparation so that eventually when humankind is going to be put there, nalatag na lahat. Nakuha niyo? So prepare yung kumbaga kung saan mangyayari yung drama, prepare muna yung mga backgrounds, ilagay yung yung stage. Then eventually, ito na. Sabi rito, with seed in them, yung lahat ng mga halaman na ginawa ng Panginoon, merong mga buto o meron silang karakteristik na mag-multiply. The earth produced vegetation, plants yielding seeds according to their kind. You will notice yung word na according to their kind, and trees bearing fruit with seed in them, according to their kind. And God saw, ano daw nangyari? Nung makita niya, God saw it was good again. And there was evening, and there was morning, and that was the third day. So, pangatlong araw po yun. Now, tingnan natin. Sumunod na araw. Then God said, let there be lights in the expanse of the heaven to separate the day from the night, and they shall serve as signs and seasons, and for days and years, and they shall serve as lights in the expanse of the heavens to give light on earth, and it was so. So ano nangyari? On the fourth day, mga kapatid, ginawa yung araw, buwan, at mga bituin. Nyo, don't be confused. Doon po sa day 1, ang ginawa ng Diyos ay light. Pero yung light po na yun, hindi pa yun yung hindi pa yung sun. You will notice na una pong likhain ng Panginoong Diyos yung lahat ng vegetation, trees. Kasi day 3 yun eh. Sa pang-apat na araw, pa lang po nagawa o ginawa ng Diyos ang araw, ang buwan, at ang mga bituin. At ano daw ang reason bakit ito ginawa? Para daw maging tanda ng ating panahon. Kaya po tayo, yung ating kalendaryo, ang pinagbabasihan po niyan yung buwan, yung araw, tsaka yung mga bituin. Ano po? So, we can know actually the season. Noon po, wala pa naman tayong mga kalendaryong nakaprint. Ang tinitinan po ng mga scholars noon, mga ninuno natin, yung position nung mga bituin. At syempre yung araw at ang buwan. Ano po? Now, God made the two great lights, the greater light to govern the day and the lesser light to govern the night. He made the stars also, and God placed them in the expanse of heaven to give light on earth and to govern the day and the night and to separate the light from darkness. And God saw it was good. So anong nangyari? Ginawa ito para mahiwalay daw ang gabi sa araw. Ano po? At nakita ng Panginoon na yung kanyang ginawa, ultimately, it was good. Again, bakit good? Kasi hindi siya pwedeng compare. Walang comparison eh. It was good. So yun yung day 4. Sa day 4, sun, moon, and star were created. And there was evening, and there was morning, a fourth day. Now, on the fifth day, tingnan natin, God said, let the waters teem with swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth in the open expanse of the heavens. And God created the great sea creatures and every living creatures that moves, with which the waters swarm according to their kind, and every winged bird according to its kind. And God saw that it was good. So, sa panglimang araw, ano pong ginawa ng Diyos? Lahat ng mga sea creatures and air creatures, lahat ng mga lumilipad at merong pakpak. Ano po? And ultimately, at the end of the day, ang conclusion, it was good. So makikita nyo, lahat naging colorful ang sky natin. Ang dami ng mga ibon. Naging colorful din ang sea. Makikita nyo mga corals, iba-ibang kulay ng mga isda, iba-ibang laki, iba-ibang itsura, at ganun din sa kalangitan. Ginawa ng Panginoon yun. And for the first time, you will see the word blessed, and God, what? Blessed them. Bakit blessed ni God yung mga living creatures na ito? Kasi He wants them to be fruitful. And God blessed them and saying, be fruitful and multiply and fill the waters in the seas and let birds multiply on earth. And there was evening and there was morning, a fifth day. You will notice, kahit dun pa lamang sa paglikha ng Diyos ng vegetation, ng trees, grass, and everything, He always wanted everybody to be multiplying. So, ang means ni God ng pagpapadami ay multiplication, hindi addition. Nakanya? God means of growth is through multiplication. Paano nasabi? Kasi ang isang mangga, pag nagtanim ka ng mangga, namunga siya, marami siyang buto. Pag yun yun natanim, maraming mangga ang mabubunga. Ganon din ang ibon at ang mga isda. Ang isang isda, daan. At minsan libo pa nga ang yung mga nagiging anak nila. And God made it to be like that. He wants multiplication. God's way of growing is actually through multiplication. At kahit yung isang manok natin, di ba? Nag-alaga ako ng manok. Ang isang manok ay pwedeng magkaroon ng sisiw hanggang sa karanasan ko hanggang 12. Sa isang lang yun sa isang itlogan. No, sa isang taon, pwede ka makapagpaitlog ng 3 beses. So, ganun. Ginagamit talaga ni God ang means of growth, yung multiplication. So, now, God said, let the earth produce living creatures according to their kind, livestock and crawling things, and animals of the earth according to their kind. And it was so. God made the animals of the earth according to their kind, and the livestock according to their kind, and everything that crawls on the ground. So, eventually, what happened? God created all the land creatures. And you will always find it out that when God made everything, animals, they are according to their kind. May mga kind. At pag nanganak sila according to their kind, meaning to say, you will produce your own kind. That's a natural law. And that was actually what God intended it to be. Kung anong klase ka, pag nag-produce ka, yun ang mapuproduce mo. According to your kind. According to its kind, God saw that it was good. It was good. And then, this is already on the 6th day, no? And God said, tingnan nyo let us make mankind in our image. You will notice the word God here, itong ginamit na God, Elohim. At mapapansin mo, this is in plural form. Nag-usap. Ang Diyos may kinausap from within His community. God talk to each other. I mean, the persons of Godhead talk to each other. Kaya mapapansin nyo, plural ang ginamit niya. Sabi, let us. Hindi po yan mag-isa. Let us make mankind in our image. May nagsasabi, yung kausap daw dyan ng Diyos ay anghel. Well, hindi yan anghel kasi sabi doon, let us make mankind in our image. Meaning to say, image ng Diyos, hindi image ng angel. So, God and angels are not co-creators. Hindi sila creator. God is the only creator. And God said, sa kanyang Trinity, sa Godhead, nag-usap-usap sila. Sabi, gawin natin ang tao according to our likeness. According to our image, according to our likeness. At ano daw mangyayari? Ano daw ang gagawin ng tao? And let them rule over the fish of the seas and over the birds of the sky, over the livestock and over all the earth. And over every crawling things that crawls on the earth. And so God created man in His own image. In the image of God, He created him, male and female. Now, this clarifies where man came from. Alam niyo, mabuti na lang talaga may Genesis chapter 1. Kasi kung hindi, naloko na tayo nung evolution theory. Anong sinasabi ng evolution theory? Nanggaling lang daw tayo sa single cell, tapos nag-evolve hanggang naging unggoy. Tapos nag-evolve na naman, may mga missing link, tapos naging human. Nakala nyo? Kung wala ang Genesis chapter 1, pinaniwalaan natin na galing tayo sa unggoy. Pero salamat na lang dahil may Genesis chapter 1 and it tells us that we are not from monkey. We came from God and you and I are created by God according to His likeness, according to His image. This also makes us, listen to this also makes man, you and I, so important. Why? Because of all the things that God created, man is the only creation that He created according to His image. Meaning to say, merong nilagay siya na galing sa Kanya. May nilagay siya na galing sa Kanya, nilagay sa atin. So, when God created us, He created us so special. Nilagay na muna lahat ng kailangan natin Tsaka tayo nilagay. Nakuha nyo? So what does it tell you? You are very special. You actually are a bearer of God's image. Nasa atin ang imahe ng Diyos. Meron akong narinig nagsabi, nung ang Panginoong Diyos ay gumawa ng isda, nagsalita siya sa dagat. Nung ang Panginoong Diyos ay gumawa ng ibon, nagsalita siya sa expanse, no, sa sky. Nung gumawa siya ng mga hayop, nagsalita siya sa land. Bakit daw? Kasi pag inalis mo daw yung mga halaman, nung gumawa siya ng mga halaman, nagsalita siya sa lupa. Bakit? Kasi pag inalis mo daw yung halaman sa lupa, mamamatay siya. Yung isda, pag inalis mo sa tubig, mamamatay siya. Tayo, hindi tayo ginawa tayo sa imahe ng Panginoong Diyos. Kaya kapag inalis daw tayo sa image ng Diyos, we are nothing. We will die. And actually, eternal death, no, is actually being away from the presence of God. And that is in hell, no? So, you and I are very special that God actually made us into His image. That's very special. Now, on the seventh day, God rested. Okay. Ito, chapter 2, ano na po ito? Verse 1 and 2. And so heavens and earth were completed and all their heavenly lights. By the seventh day, ano daw ang ginawa ng Diyos? Wala siya actually ginawa. On the seventh day, God completed everything, all of His work which He had done, and He rested on the seventh day from all His work which He had done. Anong nangyari dyan? Sa Tagalog, nagpahinga siya, di ba? Sa 7 araw, nagpahinga ang Diyos. Then God blessed the seventh day. Pinagpala niya ang pang-7 araw and sanctified it. Binanal niya ito because on it He rested from all His work which God had created and made. Now, pag-usapan natin yung salitang rested. Yung salitang rest dito, yung pahinga, hindi ibig sabihin ang Diyos ay napagod. Hindi napapagod ang Diyos. Kundi yung salitang rested dito has that meaning of an opportunity to parang step back and appreciate all that He has done. So tumigil siya sa paggawa kasi gawa na tsaka in-appreciate niya. Parang imagine niyo po isang taong nagpipainting siya buong 6 na araw. Pagkatapos niya pong ma-painting, tumigil siya sa paggawa, tapos ginawa niya, in-appreciate niya yung kanyang masterpiece, yung kanyang obra. Siguro ang tanong ng ilan sa inyo, bakit ang Diyos kailangang magpahinga? Ito ang ilan sa mga reason. Why did God rested? Number 1, to set an example for humanity. Alam niyo kung bakit? Ang Diyos mismo nagbigay ng ano sa atin, ng halimbawa na dapat nating sundan. Na tayo pala, kailangan tayo magpahinga. Ang Panginoong Diyos nga nagpahinga. No, to appreciate what He had done. Tayo din, kailangan natin magpahinga. Baka ang ilan sa inyo kulang na sa pahinga kasi ang inisip nyo, naku, ang dami naming mga gastusin, kailangan ko magtrabaho. So all throughout the week, trabaho ka ng trabaho. Sa isang araw, meron tayong 24 hours at nakahati yan sa 8 hours na magtatrabaho, 8 hours na magpapahinga, at yung remaining 8 hours naman sa pagpiprepare natin at iba pang gawain. Ngayon, sa buong isang linggo, 6 na araw tayong magtatrabaho, tapos may isang araw tayong pahinga. May example tayong nakita galing sa Diyos, siya mismo nagpahinga. So tayo, baka overwork na kayo dyan, ha? Lalo yung mga kapatid natin nasa abroad. Nakuha nyo, huwag kayo mag-overwork. Hindi yan kalooban ng Panginoon. Kailangan may pahinga. And of course, number 2, to declare completion. Natapos na kasi ng Panginoon ang kanyang ginawa. So He rested. He said, completed already. Number 3, to establish the Sabbath as holy. God actually instituted this day, rest day, actually as holy. Ano may ibig sabihin ng holy? Ang ibig sabihin niyan, itinalaga niyang banal. So kailangan pala talaga magpahinga tayo kasi banal pala yung pagpapahinga. And number 4, to point towards spiritual rest. Of course, yung Sabbath yung seventh day, yung pagpapahinga, it actually points us to the Sabbath rest which you and I will be able to experience in heaven. Nakuha nyo? So, that's the reason why God rested. Now, in summary, to summarize yung mga yon, yung teaching about the Sabbath. God rested not because He was weary, but to model a holy rhythm of life, declare the goodness of His creation, and offer a pattern of rest for His people, physically, spiritually, and of course, eternally. Now, how God intended to fill the world? How did God intended to fill the world? So basically, God wants to fill the world through multiplication. From the word multiply. Sa buong chapter po, mababasa nyo 3 times yung binanggit ng Panginoong Diyos yung salitang multiply. Ano po? So, He actually intended us to grow through multiplication. Kahit sa kahit sa church, sa church dapat maintindihan natin 'yan. O kahit sa ministry natin, sa pagdidisipulo. Ang Panginoon pala gusto niya mag-multiply talaga tayo. Not just addition. You and I are actually we're blessed actually to multiply. Tapos pangalawa, yung salitang after its own kind. 10 times po ginamit 'yan sa chapter na yan. 10 times. Anong ibig sabihin yan? Ang implication niyan, you can only multiply your own kind. Meaning to say, kung ano ka, alam mo, nagdi-disciple ka, kung ano lang naman yung spirituality mong narating, yun lang din naman may tuturo mo eh. Kaya it's very important for us leaders to really grow. Bakit? Kasi pag hindi tayo mag-grow, hanggang dun lang din yung kaya nating ibigay sa mga tao. Pero as we grow, we can actually give more. Kasi according to its kind nga eh, di ba? According to its kind. So that's it. Now, meron akong other truths that we can learn from Genesis. So man is made in God's image. Yan, kanina ni-reiterate ko na yan. Tayo, may imahe tayo ng Diyos na nasa atin. Nakuha niyo? Yun nga lang, nung nagkasala tayo, dadaanan natin yung next week. Nasira yun, pero hindi nawala. Yung image ni God nasa sa atin. Nakuha niyo? Kaya siguro magtatanong kayo, bakit bakit bawal pumatay? O bakit nasa 10 utos ang huwag kang papatay? Kasi nga, yung taong yan ay imahe ng Panginoon. Bakit sinabi ni Jesus na kapag ang isang tao ay nilait-lait mo, minura-mura mo, sinabihan mo ng masasamang salita, iyan ay kasalanan, parang pinatay mo na siya. Kasi nga, yung taong yan, ginawa sa image ni God. Nakuha nyo? Matutunan din natin doon sa binasa natin na originally, tayo mga tao pala, we are supposed to eat herbs and vegetables. Ngayon, anong kinakain natin? May mga karne-karne na tayo at kung ano-anong mga processed foods, di ba? Tapos may mga studies na lumalabas ngayon na healthy talaga yung mga herbs, di ba? Mga gulay-gulay. Alam natin yan, lalo na yung mga medyo nagkakaedad na. Di ba? Alam nyo kung ano yung mga bawal sa inyo. Tapos bumabalik tayo dun sa mga gulay. Kahit nga yung mga sa medicine, no? We are coming back to the herbal medicines. So what can we learn from God from this passage? We can learn from God that He is eternal. He was there even from the beginning. Ang Panginoong Diyos nandun na bago pa magsimula ang lahat. We can learn that God is a powerful and awesome God. Salita niya lang. Kapag sinabi niya, nangyayari. Kaya alam nyo, kapag ang Diyos may sinabi sa inyo, may sinalita sa inyo, mangyayari yun. Kapag may pangako sa inyong Panginoon, panghawakan niyo yun because God's word is powerful and He is an awesome God. Meaning to say, pag humarap tayo sa Diyos, hindi natin siya pwedeng biru-biruin. Hindi natin siya pwedeng loko-lokohin. Dapat tayo, reverent. Ano ibig sabihin ng reverent? Dapat may dakilang paggalang tayo. And you will also see that God is an organized and creative God. Napansin nyo, hindi niya ginawa, o isang araw lang, nandyan na lahat, pak, 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 o bahala na kayo mag-ayos. Hindi. Organize siya. First day, second day, third day, hanggang sixth day. At napansin nyo, hindi niya nilagay muna ang tao. Tapos sa kanya linagay mga, hindi, linagay niya muna ang isa-isa. Inayos niyang mabuti. At hindi lang yun, he was very creative. Meaning to say, he had put every colors of the rainbow sa kanyang creation. Makikita mo, green, blue, red, yellow, white. In creation, you will see that. Kahit nga sa mga gems, sa mga bato, grabe, pinapanood ko yung mga different kinds of gems. Ang dami pala. May isang klase ng gem na makikita mo na yung rainbow color. God is a very creative, organized and creative God. And of course, we can learn also that God is a personal God. Ano ibig sabihin niyan? Na si God nagsasalita. He is actually a community within himself. Nakuha niyo? He thinks, he speaks, and he wills. Ano he wills? Meron siyang kakayahang magdesisyon. Pag sinabi nangyayari. And his way of growth is multiplication. Now, may isa akong may nalagpasan yata ako. Iyon. Yan. So, kung isa-summarize natin, ito yun, no? Kasi kahit ako hindi ko kabisado dati talaga yung creation. Pero if you are going to paparecite ko sa inyo yung creation, paano ginawa ng Diyos ang creation? Well, pwede nating hatiin sa sa dalawang hati, no? Yung 6 days of creation, no? Ang creation nangyari basically 3 days. Sa 3 days na yon, tandaan nyo lang yung salitang separation. Sa first day, sineperate niya yung sinabi niya, let there be light, sineperate niya ang light from darkness. First day yon. Second day, sineperate niya ang waters from below and above. Yung nagkaroon po ng canopy, no? Tapos, third day, sineperate niya naman yung water and land sa baba. Tapos, kinuha niya na po yung plants and trees and all of the greens, no? Third day po 'yon. So, reviewin natin yung tatlo. Separation of light and darkness, separation of water from below and above, separation of waters and land. Then, trees and vegetations. Sa second half ng kanyang 6th day of creation, pang fourth po ginawa ang sun, moon, and stars. Tapos number 5, birds of the air and sea creatures. Tapos pang-anim po, animals on the land, and he created man and woman. Nakanya, so madaling tandaan na, di ba? Ano yung 3 days? Separation. Light and darkness, water below and above, tapos land and sea, tapos trees and vegetation. Ano naman uli yung second half? Sun, moon, and stars, birds of the air and sea creatures, the number yung pang-anim po na araw, animals on the land, and man and woman. And on the 7th day, God rested. Okay? So, pag tinanong kayo, paano ginawa ng Diyos ang sanlibutan? 6 na araw ginawa yan. Yung kalahati, yung first 3, separation, at yung second 3, sun, moon, and stars, birds and sea creatures. In number, yung pang 6th day, animals and man and woman. Then 7th day, God rested. Okay? So, the heavens and earth were completed and their heavenly lights by the 7th day. So, that's it, mga kapatid. That's Genesis chapter 1.